Hey, what's up? This is Mike HRANICA from the Devil Wears Prada, and you should be listening to Rockzone.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first interview of this year, and I am here today with Mike HRANICA from the Devil Wears Prada. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Good.
All good?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine, cool. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you released your latest single, Ritual, last year. Color Decay will be 3 years this year, in a few months. So, quick math. You should be brewing a new music right now.
We have been. We've been working, we've really worked since Color Decay to work on more music, but we did that Reason song too and whatnot. But yeah, we're sitting on more than a record's worth that John, our keyboard player, is dialing in.
So, also your sound and everything around the band keeps changing and evolving, which is natural. And what's been the biggest wow moment for you while working on the new stuff?
Biggest wow moment. I guess it's just that like our scene, while we grew sort of out of what they call the underground, has now become very much on the forefront of rock when you look at the bands that are now headlining the big festivals and whatnot. While we've tried to cater our sound a little bit more to rock sensibilities, at the same time you can see plenty of bands playing breakdowns and screaming their heads off headline huge festivals, which just wasn't the case at all 25, 30 years ago, or even 15 years ago. So I'd say that's a pretty big wow for me, and it's great seeing bands, peers of ours, have such amazing success.
What's the craziest or most unexpected thing that happened while putting together the latest music? Like something that made you go, did it just happen?
I can't. I don't know if one specific instance so much jumps out at me, but it is cool, again, mentioning our peers and whatnot, and the praise we've received from our peers and whatnot. There's a lot of bands that, started much later than us, but have attained a higher level of success. And they've been very kind in informing us that, Prada was a big influence and whatnot. So when friends that are playing huge shows and whatnot all over the world constantly are giving you such high praise and such kind words, it's delightful. It's flattering.
Yeah, sounds about right. So I know from the previous interviews that you are not the main lyricist of the band, that John is. Basically, you told me that John is your keyboardist.
Yeah.
He's writing most of the lyrics. But apart from that, still the lyrics hit really deep. So my question is, was there ever a song that was like, this one is tough to get out, but I have to? Like speaking in the studio or live, doesn't matter.
For me, first thought is a song called 25 we did. A breakup song of mine, and
Okay.
I don't know, I would hate to ever play it because I tried to be as raw as possible with it, and it definitely extracts a lot of memories that I don't want to routinely sing about every night and whatnot. So yeah, I've written any number of breakup songs besides that, but that one is definitely one that is almost a little too close to home, but something that I wanted to put together. And yeah, knock on wood, at least as of right now, we haven't played it live. I'd rather just let other people enjoy it and put it out there and let it be.
Okay. So you've got a big milestone coming up, which is your 20th anniversary. And looking back, what's your one memory or lesson from the whole era that still sticks with you? Honestly, I know it's a tough one, but if there's one particular moment or something that sticks with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, one of the big things this year, and like to your question about like a wow moment, is we did the When We Were Young festival in Las Vegas.
That looked sick, by the way. I saw the YouTube videos.
It was pretty crazy. We played most of Plagues. We didn't have enough time to play all of Plagues, but the fact that the headliners were Mike Hem and like A Day to Remember played, and they were playing right after Jimmy Eat World, playing Bleed American, which is such just a mammoth of a record in so many different ways.
You were featured on the set with A Day to Remember, right?
Yeah,
During one song.
Yeah, so I performed that song with the fellas, but I was up on stage with them watching Jimmy Eat World, and it's just crazy to me. It immediately makes me feel like, I'm like 12 or 13, and my sister was listening to it in her bedroom by mine and whatnot. So, moments like that definitely stick out.
Okay, so on that note, and this one particular question is from one of our viewers and listeners and your fans also. How do you look back on the early days of the core scene, and where do you see the future of core bands and the scene as a whole heading?
Oh, good question. I always said that while like a band's visual aesthetic is a huge part of metalcore, and it's a huge part of a lot of the nuances of rock music in general, or any number of genres, I think it sometimes loses touch with the authenticity of putting songs together, or a band sitting in a room playing guitar amps and whatnot. I think there will definitely be a little bit of a resurgence with that, and a certain level of rawness reintroduced that I feel like is pretty in vogue and has always been with like punk and hardcore, but it's even seeped so far into metal and hardcore. I think some of the rawness of the pre-computer days might start to re-emerge here in the coming years.
Hopefully. So, how's being part of the band changed how you look at making it in music? Like, has your idea of success shifted for the past 20 years?
I've never really quantified success, because I've always thought that finding success is a sort of complacent objective, as far as like, oh, I made it, and like, now what, We've actually written quite a number of songs on something along that notion for new music and whatnot that we're working on. But I don't know. I find that, we kind of set objectives, and I think success is certainly one of them. And then when we get there, we're like still not satisfied. I guess if you had said, 19 years ago, like this, you're going to be doing this in 19 years, and you're even going to have the ability to headline in Prague, I'd been like, well, that sounds like success to me. But as you get older, it's like that target always shifts, where you're shooting or where you're aiming your efforts. So long story short, yes, I think what defines success for me is definitely moved here and there.
Okay, so I saw the set list that you are playing tonight and during this tour. You brought back some older stuff, but if you could bring back one Prada song that's been on the shelf for years, which one would it be, and why do you think fans would lose it over it?
As most would assume, I've not listened to Plagues since, Plagues. But seeing as we just recently performed it for the festival back in the United States, the one song that I always really loved playing back then, and it turns out when I was relearning it or hearing it again, was a song called "Don't Dink and Trance," and I think it has a lot of punch to it. It's silly as far as some of the riffs and the goofy pick scratching and whatnot, harmonic stuff chugging all over the place, but. That song, while a lot of Plagues is pretty icky to me, if we put in Don't Ding and Dreads, I'd be fine with that.
All right. So now real talk. If you guys had to rename the band today, what's the dumbest and funniest name that would somehow actually work? I don't want to say that the Devil Wears Prada is dumb and funny.
Well, I will say that. we've always made fun of our own name a bunch and been like, wow, what a stupid name. At the same time, I know it's worked probably more than we've realized as far as people being like, what the hell's that? And they listen to it rather than if you have some like ultra serious name, you know? So, I don't know what we would rename it now. I think if we got like sued or something, we would probably just go TDWP. But before Jeremy and I were even in the band, when the first three guys started like demoing, they were using a like internet generator that would just shoot out a band name at you, and one of the band names was Five Fish and a Fish. And I've always quite liked that, so I doubt if we had to change our name now, we'd do Five Fish and a Fish, but at the same time, long live Five Fish and a Fish.
Okay. Speaking of which, was there even ever a problem with the movie The Devil Wears Prada?
No, I don't. The woman that wrote the novel, Lauren Weisenberger, I forget. She recently found out about the band.
Oh, okay.
Somehow she made it as long as she did, not knowing that there's a silly metal band parading around all these years with the name of her book. But yeah, she posted it on Instagram. But I was always more worried about Prada trying to sue us because, you know, we make a lot of T-shirts that say Prada on them, but
nothing happened yet.
Yes, leave us alone.
Okay, that's about that. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us. And you guys make sure to listen to The Devil Wears Prada all over the streaming platforms. Go to their shows, buy their merch, support them as you can. And I will see you the next time during the next episode. Until then, take care and peace.